Mr. President, earlier today, I spoke on the floor about the Oklahoma Attorney General Scott Pruitt and his nomination to lead the Environmental Protection Agency. Since that time, an Oklahoma judge has now ruled that Scott Pruitt must comply with a 2-year-old request to release email correspondence between the Attorney General's office and fossil fuel companies like oil company Devon Energy and coal company Murray Energy. After an over 2-year struggle, these communications will finally come to light starting next Tuesday. But the Senate is due to vote on Scott Pruitt's nomination tomorrow afternoon, Friday at 1 p.m. Now, that smells to the high heavens. The American people in the Senate have a right to know what's in all of those emails that have finally been ordered to be released by a court. And instead, what the Republican leadership is going to do is rush to judgment, forcing members of the Senate to vote on this confirmation without knowing what is in all of these emails that have been subject to litigation for the last 2 years. Now, it's a little bit fishy because Republicans have been obsessed with emails for over 2 years. They have spent millions of dollars on attempts to gain access to emails during the presidential campaign, but now they are denying the Senate and the American public the right to examine Scott Pruitt's emails. And that, again, is not okay. The only thing Senate Republicans seem to want to deny more than climate change is the right of senators to review these 3,000 emails. And that, again, is not okay. And so we're going to be in a very funny situation at 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. The emails are on the way. We're going to find out what was in all of those emails. We're going to find out what kind of correspondence Attorney General Pruitt had with all of these different entities with which he was communicating, but the senators won't have it for a basis of casting a vote. Now, maybe it's benign, but maybe it's not, and maybe that's why this vote is being rushed. It's being rushed so that the senators don't know what's in there, that they're blind as they vote. And then, as each email becomes public, as each new revelation becomes public in the weeks and months ahead, people are going to look back at this body and they're going to say, why could you not wait just another week so that the senators could know what was in those emails? And I think there's a reason why many people have arched eyebrows that are going up so high that it would hit the roof of a ceiling. There's a reason to be skeptical that something is happening here that is meant to be a rush to judgment to avoid all of the evidence being placed in front of the senators and the American people in terms of his nomination. Members of the faith community are weighing in as well. They have opposed Mr. Pruitt's nomination. I want to read portions of a letter that the bishops of the Episcopal Church in Massachusetts sent to President Trump. These faith leaders write, quote, "The Episcopal Church stands strongly for the protection of the environment. We respect the facts of science. We support laws and policies that address the reality of climate change." They continue, "Our respect for our government leaders and our reverence for the earth as God's creation impel us to write you to express our dismay about your selection of Scott Pruitt to head the Environmental Protection Agency." These are the bishops of the Episcopal Church of Massachusetts. They continue, "We wonder why a person who has consistently and adamantly opposed all laws and policies that provide even minimal protection to the environment should be entrusted with leading such an agency. President-elect Trump, you have promised economic development. Like you, we value a stable and prosperous economy. However, the bishops say, a thriving economy depends on a healthy environment. The more we weaken and dismantle the EPA's vital protections of our natural world, the more we threaten the common good. You have also promised to strengthen our national defense. Like you, we value national security. However, our country's top military intelligence has concluded that climate change is a threat multiplier that is already creating instability around the world and will likely create significant security challenges in the years ahead. If someone who casts doubt on the reality of climate change becomes the head of the EPA, the bishops say our national security will be compromised. As citizens of this beloved country, we intend to write our members of Congress, urging them to block the nomination of Scott Pruitt to lead the EPA. We will pray for a better choice. The letter is signed by the following faith leaders: Right Reverend Douglas J. Fisher, Bishop Diocesan of Western Massachusetts; the Right Reverend Alan Gates, Bishop Diocesan of Massachusetts; the Right Reverend Gail Harris, Bishop Suffragan of Massachusetts; the Right Reverend Barbara C. Harris, Bishop Suffragan of Massachusetts; the Right Reverend Roy Setterholm, Bishop Suffragan of Massachusetts. The reality is that this is not just a question of these Episcopal bishops, but Pope Francis. Pope Francis came to the Congress just last year, and he preached a sermon on the Hill saying the planet is dangerously warming, human activity is causing it, and we have a moral responsibility to take action as Americans, as the House and Senate, a moral responsibility to protect this planet that God created and those who are the poorest and most vulnerable who will be most exposed. So let me just say that this is a moral issue of the highest magnitude. The leaders of religions all across our country are praying for us, begging us to do something in order to protect this planet. Scott Pruitt does not intend on taking those actions.